And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. We're just a little past the bottom of the hour here. We want to move on to so many of these other stories and so many of these issues that will be front and center in the 2024 presidential election. We were just talking about inflation as one of them. Let's move on to illegal immigration now as well. Take a look at some of our live shots we have from across the country. New York, Los Angeles, also in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Well, we got the news just a couple of days ago that 8 nationals of Tajikistan with ties to ISIS have been arrested by ICE in conjunction with the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. The arrests took place in New York City, Los Angeles, and Philly in recent days. All 8 Tajiks crossed the southern border illegally and initially had no derogatory information that flagged with CBP or DHS initially during processing. Fox's Bill Malugin was told that they received a, quote, full vetting and nothing was flagged at the time. Malugin was told after they were released into the U.S., derogatory information was flagged with national security concerns and ISIS ties. Now, they would not confirm if this derogatory information was matches to the terror watch list. These matches sometimes happen after release because CBP cannot hold them for too long. A source to Bill Malugin was unable to provide when and where these Tajiks crossed the border, and they were unable to comment on the New York Post reporting that some of these individuals were caught on the FBI wiretaps talking about bombs. Fox cannot confirm that information right now. We did get a formal statement from the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI to Fox News. They say this: over the last few days, ICE agents arrested several non-citizens pursuant to immigration authorities. The actions were carried out in close coordination with the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Forces. The individuals arrested are detained in ICE custody pending removal proceedings. We've been relying so heavily on this story from some of our Fox affiliates across the country where these arrests, where these joint operations took place, including in Philadelphia. Fox 29 has this report with Chris O'Connell.
Those suspects reportedly with ISIS ties are Tajikistani nationals who authorities say got into the United States through the southern border. The arrest came in a coordinated sting with suspects detained in Los Angeles, New York, and Philadelphia. The 8 Tajikistani nationals reportedly having ties to ISIS. Authorities confirming ICE agents arrested several non-citizens pursuant to immigration authorities. The actions were carried out in close coordination with the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Forces. Just last week, the head of the FBI warned about a type of threat on U.S. soil.
Our most immediate concern has been that individuals or small groups will draw twisted inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks here at home.
Fox News reporting the suspects were allowed into the U.S. pending asylum after being fully vetted. It wasn't until after they were released authorities flagged them for having ties to the terror group ISIS.
It's always troublesome when any of these individuals come in, whether they come in through the southern border or they come in, through Philadelphia.
Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security, Jack DiMarcio, says right now federal investigators are most likely trying to learn everything they can about the suspects.
Are they ethnic Russians who were living in Tajikistan? Are they fundamentalists with a religious issue?
Right now, it's unclear what the suspects were planning or if Philly was a target.
I don't know what he was doing here. I suspect he wasn't here to see the Liberty Bell as a tourist. Either he was in transit or there was something being planned for this area. We just don't know.
Now, federal authorities did not say whether or not those suspects were planning an active attack. Those suspects remain in ICE custody tonight. In Newtown Square, Chris O'Connell, Fox 29 News.
Chris, thanks so much. Live Now look there in Los Angeles over LAX at the airport. We're going to move from Philly to Los Angeles for more on this story. Let's listen.
What people need to know is it's not the first and it won't be the last.
Thomas Homan, former director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, isn't surprised one bit by the arrest of suspected terrorists in Los Angeles, New York, and Philadelphia. The men from Tajikistan entered the U.S. from the southern border. They were released into the U.S. after their background checks came back clean. Homeland says Border Patrol agents are under immense pressure to process and release people quickly.
Border Patrol agents cannot do investigative interviews. They don't have time like they're supposed to have investigative interviews to find out who you paid, how you came, what routes did you take. They're not doing that because there's not time.
Could you please explain to us the process in this type of investigation?
The Bureau will do a deep dive on their history, on anything from social media posts to anything they can find in writing, to any associations they have.
The FBI had been monitoring the suspects for several months, and while they have not been charged with having an actual terrorist plan, Homeland believes a thorough investigation will reveal otherwise.
There's no way they know that information right now. This is going to take an investigation to find out how they're related.
The biggest takeaway in this case, according to Homeland, should be this.
National security should be a nonpartisan issue. We know this is a vulnerability. Do something about it.
All right, back out live to our vantage points in New York, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia. That was Fox 11's Gina Silva there talking with former ICE official Tom Homan.